Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Carlos with the Brown Liquor Cigars podcast, and we have John.
Wow.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I cannot.
He's had too many yellow shots.
All the way live. That was John.
All right.
Live and direct.
Yes. And we have Tracey.
Hello. I can't top that one. Not even going to try.
Can't do any arm farts or nothing?
I'll hold my belch. Thank you.
And we got Omar.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good. Thank y'all for being back on this guest again.
Let's get it together.
Yes.
Take a deep breath, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right. So, serious question right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Could y'all be married to or entertain marrying a prostitute? So, Tracey, that goes for you too, because it's 2021, there's male prostitutes out here too. So, not just female ones. So, what would y'all say? Tracey, I'll start with you.
I'm glad you clarified male versus female. Although my answer to both would be no. I cannot imagine myself entertaining or marrying a prostitute, former, current.
Okay. Also, not even dating. That's a good point.
No.
Not even dating. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Can't do it.
Yeah, it's a no for me.
Flat out, not even dating?
No.
Okay. John, what you say?
I say no, simply because marriage is not something I desire. But if I was going to get married, I would be open to a prostitute, former prostitute.
Okay. I would
Save a
not.
hoe.
Former.
Just like,
Okay.
how
Well, before I give
do
my
you
answer,
become-
why would you be open to that?
Well, I think, for one thing, it's the past. We all have past. So if we're gonna dig into everybody's past, there may be something else that person don't like about us. That's not prostitution. And then also, I believe now in 2021, it's hard to find anybody that has a low body count. A low body count. I think it's very hard to find people that have 3 and under nowadays. And some men would not marry a woman that has 5 body counts. And I think the only difference and then to be honest with you, I think women have been marrying prostitutes forever. And what I mean by that is women get with men that have high body counts. The only difference is they just didn't get paid for it. At least the prostitute got paid for her sex. So, yeah.
Booty for Birkin bags.
Once a prostitute, always a prostitute.
Yeah, I personally couldn't do
away
it.
from it.
You said you had to stay away from. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I just, and maybe it's an ego thing for me, but just every time I would be having sex with her, I would be like, she did this with somebody else.
Who else she
money.
did this with?
Right. But I do get your point.
But she doing
John.
it with you too for money.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
How so?
Women
Not
trick in
well-
marriages. They tricking all the time in relationships. They
Well, that's
tricking
true,
all the
yeah.
time for whatever they want. Whether it's a purse, whether it's to get their rent paid, whatever the case may be, they are tricking.
No, I
and they're
agree.
tricking men all the way. And a lot of men are already having sex with their women, and they're thinking, "Well, is she doing this here to get me to do this?"
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So what's the
Married women are
difference?
probably the biggest
Well, maybe the
prostitutes.
difference is
Exactly.
it's not behind a trash can in an alleyway.
Or,
that
at,
might-
or at a strip club.
Right.
But that's
Maybe.
what we.
No, I'm just playing
But
the
I'm
devil's
just saying,
advocate.
we find that kind of sexy to have sex in the public street behind a trash can.
I never
I
have.
don't know about the trash
Yeah.
can.
Well, maybe in public,
car.
but not.
But,
Yeah,
okay,
not
maybe,
no-
but whatever.
Yeah.
So
in the back seat of the car. Or
it ain't always in
Right.
a candlelit environment,
Right,
and we
right.
think it's cool to do.
But that doesn't mean that it's prostitution.
It's a little fine line.
It's
Maybe.
just an interesting sex life. That's
Yeah.
all.
Right.
And then, but in the back of the men's head or in the back of the women's head, they're thinking, well, who else
Who
have
else?
they done this
Right.
with?
It's
How
always
did they
the
know
who
about
else.
that? How do they feel so comfortable to do that?
Yeah.
So you might as well marry a prostitute. At least you know she been with folks.
So okay then. So So I guess John, this question would only be for you because we all said no. So would there be a difference, or is there a level if, like, let's say a prostitute versus a porn star? Because that's, to me, that's another level. Like, because not only are you getting, or were you at one point paid to have sex, but you were paid to have sex for everybody to see. So would you say that is another level?
I think that is another level. I do think that is another level, and that would probably take like a little bit to think about. But it is a part of the past. It is a part
really
of
good
the
heart.
past.
I couldn't do it. I said you have a really good heart.
I'm just thinking on the thing of we all have a past.
Well, true.
And if that is somebody's past, and it's far in their past, not like they just came off the street
last week
and they talk about I'm reformed.
Yeah.
If this was a couple of years ago, they done been to college. Maybe they was prostituting to pay their way through college.
Players Club.
Or whatever. And yeah, but I'm just saying, maybe they was doing it for that. But now they have a great job. That's a part of their past. Why not?
Wow.
I don't know about that porn star, though. I'm curious to know what porn you've been watching, because I don't know.
Well, let me ask you a question. In that scenario, let's say you're that person, right, that had to do it, and it's in the past, you've reformed yourself, got a good job, you're stable. Would you disclose that to the person that you're getting into a relationship with?
Once I realize that they're able to handle that truth.
How do you even
Yeah,
realize?
how do you-
But what if
get
it has
there?
no bearing on that relationship? Like, it's in the past. You've overcome that. It's no longer part of you.
Is that going to be my testimony? Is that what you're asking me?
No, I'm saying, why would you feel that you would need to disclose that?
If I think once you start seeing yourself get serious in a relationship, and you see that relationship going to that next level, I think there should be a level of transparency that you have with the person that you're with. If you're about to get married, then that's a conversation that you have.
Right.
But if it's somebody that you're just dating,
Right.
no, you don't tell them that. That's none of their business.
Okay. Yeah.
They don't need to know you.
They don't
just
need to know
be a
that.
stripper.
You just tell, you share that information out of respect.
Correct.
Because you see that relationship is getting ready to go to the next
I
level.
can see that.
Well,
Yeah, I can respect
okay.
that.
That's a great segue. Okay, so out of respect, thinking about that and what you would say to that person you're in a relationship with, then how do y'all feel about body counts? Is that something that you should disclose?
No.
Why or why not?
No.
No.
No?
No.
No.
Okay, why not?
Especially
Tracey?
for women, because the man is already wondering, I wonder how many people she's been with. And you disclosing what your count is not going to do anything for that relationship, because if your number is greater than him, that one person, it's problematic. And then definitely don't start dropping names, because I've heard people even go through conversations where they're dropping names of everybody.
And if you
Regardless
forget
of
one-
so first of all, regardless of your count, if you can remember all the names, I'm just saying, did those counts, what did they really mean to you? Who keeps track of names? Who keeps track of names? That's too much.
Oh my God,
Release
Tracey,
that.
are you just
know,
having sex in
Right.
dark rooms?
No, but I'm just saying.
you don't care about the name.
Yes, if you have a high count, you should not
But
be remembering.
To
Yeah.
play devil's
all these
advocate, if it was
names.
really good, you're not going to forget that name.
Who cares?
And
Who cares about the name?
the other question is, I want to ask you, because you're a female, like, in what scenario would, let's say 30, right? Like, why would a woman sleep with that many men?
Right.
Wow.
Like,
That's a lot.
right.
That's
but
bull.
nowadays,
Over a lifetime,
there's-
though? Or
That's
what?
that's still a lot. That's a whole lot. What you
For
trying
a
to
woman
do?
or for a man?
For anybody. That's
yeah,
a
for
lot.
anybody.
That's a lot,
But mostly
okay.
for, like, I want to know from a woman's perspective, like, in what scenario would you see a woman, like, collecting that high of a notch count?
It would, for me personally, I think it would have to be a profession or I'm just gonna say a mental illness. If I don't know,
Or
This is
trauma,
just me.
or trauma.
or trauma. Yeah,
Yeah.
not mental illness, but
Well, that could
something
be, because some
emotionally or
people
mentally is
are
off.
sexually their sex drive is tied to some form of mental illness. So that's could be
or sexual
It is-
abuse or rape.
Yeah,
It could be,
true,
yes.
true.
But
I mean, it could be something. It's something abnormal.
It could just
in
be a
my
hot girl
opinion.
summer.
Right, but I think too
You
that
can find one person
if
for
it's
hot
just
girl
a hot
summer.
summer, then you a hoe.
I'm just saying, you don't have to
and
increase
see,
your count.
I disagree
necessarily.
with that, though.
Uh-oh.
Honestly,
Okay.
with that.
Why is that?
I disagree with that because, first of all, I believe we're limiting women. I do believe that because if a woman,
In what way?
Omar.
because you're saying if she has sex with 30 men, she's a hoe. I think women can make a decision to have sex with multiple men if they choose to do that.
But
I'm
what
not-
drives that decision?
Well,
That's why I'm saying
they could have
something
just come
is
out of a
off.
relationship. They could have just come out of a relationship,
So rebound sex.
rebound sex, and then
Okay,
let's say, for
something's
instance-
off. Okay, give
That's
me
called
another.
blowing
example.
it up.
Well, and not even so much rebound sex. Let's say, for instance, they say, okay, I'm just gonna live my life free. I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. I'm just gonna live my life free. And if they make that choice that they say for 3 years, I'm just gonna live single. And if I meet a guy and we go there, we go there. And I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm good with
Could be.
it. I think they should have that choice to do that because men do it all the time. And I think we don't say that they're mentally ill when they do it. We don't say nothing's wrong. We just say that they are a man. And we have to break that because our thinking, I have a shirt that says, what we consider normal is destroying us. And we have to get out of that, what we consider normal mindset. Because nowadays, women holding out till they get married, that's not normal. If you hold out till you get married, you're an exception.
But
You're not normal no more.
normal to who though? But what if
To
you're
the world.
Okay, to the world.
To the
yes.
world.
But what if you've grown up in the church, and spiritually you want to do it biblically? Then you're the exception. Yes,
Well,
to
Omar,
society.
Well,
But
Yeah.
But I also think, though, the whole biblical lifestyle, and trust me, I love the Lord. I believe in God. My parents, my dad is a preacher. I grew up in the church. But I think a lot of that mentality that you just described, it ended with your age group.
Mm-hmm.
The millennials, 20, 30 years on down, they don't have that same mindset.
Correct. Yeah, I agree.
They don't have that
I agree with you.
mindset no more. So
Yeah,
we
if
got
you-
to get out of that but we use that. And that's why I say, if someone asks you for your body count, to me, that's a red flag because they're a judgmental person. They're asking you what your body count is so they can put themselves on a pedestal and put you down.
Right.
So I will leave them the hell alone because nowadays it should be expected. And not saying that it's okay that this is the way that it is, but it should be expected whoever you get with is going to have somewhat of a high body count.
Right,
And if you
and-
don't believe that, you're the fool.
Right, and that's a choice, like you just mentioned. It's a choice for that person. If you want to sleep with 30 plus people, it's a choice. It's your choice. Nobody should judge you for that, right? And on the flip side, if you're a person that you want to have a low notch count, then it's also a choice. Nobody should judge you for that
Right.
either.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I was
So
gonna
in
say
those
that.
scenarios, you shouldn't ask.
But nobody's
right?
judging the low person.
Are you sure?
Well, you
Yeah.
mentioned
You
that
just said
earlier.
this
That
out and
But
it
I
should-
said as a man. I said
Right.
if a man
That's
has
still
a low
judgment.
body count, but that's society too. If a man have a low body count, they're either going to think he's gay, or something's wrong
Not
with
good
him.
in bed.
Huh?
Not good in bed. Yeah,
Not in
experience,
good bed,
yeah.
in bed, or something. It's going to be something
Right.
negative about him. But these are all things that people place on us. If your body count is high, own the shit. If your body count is low, own the
correct.
shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. You should own it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I don't think you always need to share it.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
Definitely do not share it. Definitely do not share it. I don't care how much you love somebody. Don't share
Yeah.
your body count.
But
Unless, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, but then also like it's not like you're just sleeping with 30 plus people and there's no consequences from that. There's gonna be
Oh, yeah,
like
of
some
course.
consequences
Yeah,
from
everything has a
you
consequence.
giving a part of you to 30 plus people.
But there's going to be some consequences for you giving yourself to two people.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
the
It
number
exists for
doesn't
both.
matter.
Yeah.
There's consequences.
Right.
There are consequences regardless of whether it's 2 or 30. And like I said, we got to get out of that mindset where we're saying, oh, if you sleep with 2, you're better than the person who slept with 3. No, you may have slept with a person who's 2 that was whipping your ass.
Right, because I think also like you were saying, obviously if you believe in God, then you believe that everybody's redeemable, that everybody can be a new person. So regardless of your past, we've all done some fucked up shit or things that we're not proud of in our past, and we come to the Lord and it's like, hey, forgive me, make me a new person. So that same grace God gives to us, then we should have on others too. And I'm a big believer, and I learned this with like my ex-wife, to it's a work in progress, to not judge her. Even now it's like, hey, she's doing her thing, like I'm not gonna judge her. I don't want to know about it, who you're dating or names or whatever, but I'm not gonna ask you. Judgment. Right? Because I know that if I ask you, like you said, I'm gonna get in my head and be like, well, who the fuck she fucking, or who's she with, or is she bringing those guys into the house when the kids are there or whatever? And it's none of my business. So like I've had to swallow a tough pill in that, but same, like it's like, I shouldn't judge people.
Could you date a woman who has a body count of 10? Marry a woman who has a body count of 10? I was gonna
say, what is the limit?
I would say yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I do think there's an exception to sharing body counts. Well, not body counts, names. Let me say that.
I was about to
and
say,
what I mean by that is not body count, but if you are going into an environment, and you're going into an environment that there are people there that you done been with. Mm-hmm. And because circles are small, the world is small, so you're always probably going to run into at least one person that you done been with before. But if you know your woman or your man could possibly interact with these people, you need to give them the heads up.
I agree.
I disagree.
Really? You disagree?
I disagree.
Really?
Why?
Take it to the grave.
But
act like you don't know me.
But some people are malicious, and they maybe let's say it was real good and he's mad because
he's trying to sabotage
exactly
like Hinton, and then the dude's gonna pick up on it.
So,
there's some weird energy
the dude
here.
is going to feel betrayed by you.
It could go 2 different ways, because you could have a situation.
You
can have a situation where that person is salty and they try to start something,
and they could lie. That's true. It could be a lie.
But you could also have that situation where now you've shared that information with your mate, and now your mate is ready to go at that person for something that's been done with long ago. There's nothing else there. So it could be, it's still problematic. Either way, it's problematic, because I don't know.
Would you want your man to tell you, or would you want the woman to tell you that he was with her?
It's a good one.
And he see you interacting with her.
You know what? This is gonna surprise you. I would rather it be the female.
What?
Really?
This is the reason why. I don't know that female. I don't care about that female. She could be telling truth. She could be lying. But I get to choose how I accept that information from her. But if I accept it from my man and I know that it's true, then every time I see that woman, I'm going to think about the fact that she's been with my man.
So if she tell you, you just going to discount it as a lie?
I wouldn't discount it as a lie, but I'm not going to let it impact me the same, because what is happening with her and him currently is my business. What happened with them previously is none of my business. I could care less. Good. Be like, oh, did he do this for you like he does for me? Great. I mean,
would you confront the dude?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Would you bring it up?
She said that it was current.
Really?
So if it was before.
If she said it is current, I just saw your man last night, then I will confront. But otherwise, I could care less. If it was before me, I could care less. And if it's current, though, yes, I need to hear it from a man, because I need him to own his shit.
Tracey, you are
that is
one of a kind.
Commendable.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I can't, because you have to choose in life what you get stressed out about. And anything that happened before me is none of my concern. I'm not wasting energy on that. I'm not wasting energy on that. I don't care who you been with, as long as you ain't with her around me and you ain't doing bullshit. and
Right.
flirting. Now, if you are, I'm going to check you on that. And if you can't handle
say
it, I'm
for
going to
instance,
check
she
you on
never
that.
tells you.
Okay.
Say for instance, she never tells you, and the two of you become friends.
Okay.
And he knows that he's
Yeah.
been with her. You still be
He
okay
needs
with
to
him?
say something.
He is going to be the one that's uncomfortable. And I would have to deal with
So
it
you
if he
just say it's
told
just
me.
his conscience he got to deal with.
Unless he
basically.
didn't see anything wrong with it, right?
this
And
is
he
the
didn't bring it up.
thing. This is the thing in life. You are going to meet people and interact with people that you are meant to interact with. Right?
believe that.
It's going to happen. There's no guarantee in life that you can say, okay, I'm going to become friends with her, so don't you sleep with. You cannot control that.
Right.
And again, if it is before me, I cannot stress myself out about that.
True.
And
Right.
if she
Yeah.
slept with my man, well, if it's my man and she slept, well, yeah, you had a good pick.
Could you be friends with that lady if she slept with him in the past?
So I am very selective anyway with my friends.
Okay.
Okay. But it still goes back to my original. If it happened before,
Yeah.
that was then. This is now.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
I can't say that I would be that strong mentally. I
push
can't.
your
It
windows
takes-
out your
Yeah.
car.
And it would take a lot.
Now, if it
and that's
happened-
why for me, I think I would rather not know and just genuinely be a friend with that person. I don't know. But I've never, to my knowledge, I've never experienced that. So I don't know
Right. Me neither.
how I would
mean,
really I can't say absolutely I would act this way. I don't know.
I just
See,
wouldn't
I
want to
would-
be caught off guard.
Yeah, me neither. I wouldn't want to be caught off guard.
Yeah.
I
I'll give
wouldn't
you
wanna be
one
caught-
time, maybe twice.
Not even. Yeah.
But if it happened like 3 times, I'd be like, we done. If
Yeah.
if that happened like multiple times,
I would rather be told by the one I'm with.
I would, because then I would be like, well, okay, it's in the past. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I don't want to be around this person. It's like, if it's like one-time event where, just happen to be that this person's there, okay, but like if it's going to be something that it's going to happen again in the future, then I'll be like, hey, I have an issue with this. Like, not that I care what happened. The past
Yeah.
is in the past,
Yeah.
but I just don't want to be around it.
But
know?
mentally, when you cannot help but
changes
have
everything. Yeah.
those thoughts
Yeah.
that cloud your vision and bring negativity.
Now,
And that's
I will
why I'm like,
say-
I don't have time. I would rather not.
But that's a choice, though. I think that's a choice, though, you make. If you can choose, if you are given that information, what you do with that information is your choice.
Correct.
So if you choose to make it negative after the one that you're with tells you, well, hey, I'm just giving you a heads up. Something went down there before you. That was years and years ago. I'm just telling you because I care about you. I don't want you to get caught off guard. What you do with that at that point is up to you.
True, but human nature is to take it negative, and you have to train yourself to not look at it negatively and not let it impact
But
you.
so how do you process that differently if she tells you? Because you said if she tell you, you have the choice to deal with it if you want to or decide.
you would take it better
What you
from
gonna
her,
do
right?
with it?
Is
right,
that what you're
because
saying?
I would, but my whole question to her would be, why are you telling me? Who cares?
Yeah.
It's still, at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, and your point is?
Well, but she
what?
would just be telling you, Trace, I see me and you getting tight, and I don't want anything to hurt us in the
yeah.
future.
Okay.
So I'm just
Courtesy.
telling you this here as, because I
Yeah, not
respect
being
you.
catty.
Okay, and I can respect that, and I'll be like, okay, I respect that.
And
Is
then
it
you're going to go
over?
home and you're going to say, you
No.
motherfucker.
No.
Right, you had me sitting up there with her at lunch.
No.
I'm cooking dinner for that bitch. And you ever do?
I think your nature would kick in and be like, yeah, so tell me about so-and-so. You guys
Well,
had something in the
it
past?
It may.
But
Yeah.
Trace is a different
But-
woman.
Yeah,
I
that's
respect that
cool
of her.
though.
so.
I respect that too.
But
Yeah.
then it goes back to what kind of communication you have in that relationship, right?
Right.
And then the maturity level. If you're mature enough to not make it a big deal about it, like you said, you can react however, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's positive or negative,
Right.
then it's your choice.
But
Yeah.
men can't, and I'm not generalizing, most men cannot deal with, some men and some women both, cannot deal with their mates having a high body count. And that's even some women.
Yeah, it's
they
an
can't
ego
deal
thing.
with a man that has a higher body count. But the truth is, a woman will marry a man with a higher body count before a man will marry a woman with a high body
That's
count.
accurate.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true. I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what? So I want to go back a little bit to the soul ties thing. So Omar, I want to ask you this. So we have, like we said, there are some people that maybe before, like let's say it's two ladies that you could choose from dating. Maybe one of them has only been with 5 men, but she is, and I'm using this term, but I'm saying this, just breaking it down for what it is. She's a relationship hoe. So what that means is she is not sleeping with anybody else, of course, in the relationship. But as soon as that relationship ends, she's jumping into another one. Versus you have another lady who maybe she's had double the sexual partners, but they've been spaced out. So I guess my question is, of the two, which one would you perceive as better? Because I know I would have my answer, but I'm just curious of what you would say of those two ladies.
The 5
which
or the
one
10.
is worse?
Man, that's a tough
And the
one.
10 is spaced out, so keep that in mind.
Spaced
Like she's
out.
giving herself time to detox from
She's giving
the 10.
her time to tighten back up.
I guess my time back up.
100
Get
Kegels
back
for
to
each
normal
dude.
size.
1,000.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I would perceive it as like I would question like, okay, so obviously the 5, I think as a man less is better, but with the higher count it's like, okay, well, like in what scenario would you like, was it casual? Was it something that you were in a relationship or whatnot? I think as a male you have to question this because this is going to be somebody you're going to be committed to, whether that's in a long-term relationship or marriage,
But
right?
what do you do if you, say for instance, you marry a woman, and you're married, you're happily married, and then one day she just say, hey babe, one day when we were in college, my sorority had a party, and I slept with 30 dudes in one night.
The fuck?
Damn.
She better, no, you keep that to yourself. That's one of them
Yeah,
take it to
that'd
the
be
grave.
But I'm just saying, hypothetically, what would you do?
I'd be pissed because I'm like,
Would
like
you
you said,
divorce
why?
her?
Yeah.
No, but I'd be like, why are you telling
Were
me
you
this?
high?
First of
Were
all,
you
like,
drunk?
what's the purpose of you telling me this? If you've made it through the vetting process and we're married and
Not vetting.
it's been
The
good.
secret video is about to come out.
Oh, then that,
TMZ.
man, that would
The shade room.
that would.
Yeah, but one thing about that one though is still, y'all know I'm big on conversations. To me, I'm like, okay, tell me about this. How did you get there?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because
And-
if you were under the influence or something,
Yeah, were you
maybe.
under influence? Were you coerced? Were you? Did you willingly do it? And compared to all of that,
But
who are you now?
But isn't that pacifying it?
It's
you
not
tell me what
pacifying,
happened.
it's
Not for me.
understanding it.
Yeah, no,
it's
for
more
me.
of an
I'm with you on
understanding
that.
than
I
It would
wouldn't
pacifying.
definitely affect the trust that
Yeah.
you've built.
Because my thing is, you're not about to tell me you just fuck 30 dudes and then, oh, you ready to have breakfast? No, sit your ass down.
Right.
We're going to go step by step through how this happened.
But that was
Right.
before you.
But if you bold enough to say that, then you need to be bold enough to tell the whole story. Don't
Right,
tell me the
correct.
fucking ending and you didn't give me the beginning and the middle. And
Well, I did it because I liked it.
And we need to know if that's lifestyle.
Well, you and Katy Perry can get out the
and then-
door.
Because it could have been, it could be hidden lifestyle that may come out, and
Right.
if there's counseling for that.
Right.
Yeah,
But if it's something that finally like emotionally,
Again,
it comes
mental.
up and it's a trauma thing,
Yeah.
and it just happened that's at the timing that it came out, then hey, let's get you some help, right?
Right.
What's the purpose of you telling me this? Like you said, if
Yeah.
it's a video, it's like shit. I should have known this before we
Yeah, that you should say.
we got serious, right? Hey, there's
And-
probably a video floating around just to let you know. You know, I had a sketchy past, and I've done some things in the past that I'm not proud of.
Sketchy.
You know.
And now I'm even more interested in your regular STD checkups and the results.
Oh.
Because
Well, at that point, you probably already got it.
well, you might,
If-
but it might not show up. But now
Well,
I
true,
have a
true.
vested
Yeah.
interest
Right, of knowing.
and
True,
knowing
true.
the
Yeah.
results, and I
Yeah.
need to know that you're
Yeah.
doing it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you now, stuck like Chuck. So I got to figure out how to still protect myself.
Another thing too that we don't talk about is like the high notch count what does that tell me about you? You know, you're more prone to like the instant gratification versus the delayed gratification. If you're a person that like, you know, hey, like you said, I'm just gonna be myself, live freely, and if it happens, it happens. And I know mentally and emotionally, like, there's not really a filter there, right? Yeah, that's your lifestyle, that's your choice. But the way I want to live, like, hey, I rather delay my gratification to long-term marriage or relationship or marriage when it comes to intimacy that way.
But that's why people don't share their body counts, because they feel judged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like I said, now if it's something that like I like you because of the person you are now, then that's different, right?
So you can get over a woman who's been with 30 people.
If I don't know about it, like,
say for instance, she tells you.
If she tells me and like I know that her as a person and her actions and the person she's now is different than that person, then that's different, right? Because I myself, again, you know, I would have to like look in the mirror and say, well, what have you done? Have you done some fucked up shit? Maybe not in that realm, but in other areas, then I would have to have some grace.
I think too, what I want to get at too, asking you the question about the two different women, this is just me. I feel that I would have more of a side eye towards the woman who has less partners, but she's constantly getting into relationships. To me, that's a bigger problem than you having sex with 10 guys. To me, and biblically, I get it. It may not sound like it's the right thing to say, but to me, that's a deeper rooted issue when you're not only having sex with these guys, but it's like you're not giving yourself time to purge. So that's why I was saying with the 10, she's giving herself time to purge each of these guys versus you never got over number 1. So by the time you get to number 5, you carrying everything from 1, 2, 3, 4, and you bringing all of this into that 5th person, you know, that relationship. So to me, I would have greater respect for the woman who had the 10 than the serial dater or the relationship hoe with the 5. To me,
are you talking about the same age, same?
It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter because you can't say that people. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think generally we like to think of people are more sexually free in their 20s, but it could be in their 30s. It could be in their, you know, so I wouldn't necessarily put an age on it. But let's say they were both in their 20s, you know, then which one would you say?
I don't know. Because, again, body count don't matter to me. Because I wouldn't ask the question.
Well, no. I'm not I'm talking about, but which one as far as you just knew. Maybe she didn't tell it. Basically what I'm getting at and what I would want people to get when they're listening to this is that to me you have to question people that hop in and out of relationships and you're not giving yourself time to process and filter, okay, like what went wrong, what could I have done better, what could she have done better.
Yeah, but that's just somebody who just can't be without out of relationship and their body count just so happens to increase because they are unable to be single. So their body count is going to be enormous. So if they've been with 5 people before, you're just number 6 on their way to number 7. They're just stopping by you. So that's just the way it is. So you're just another notch on their belt because they can't be single. And there are issues there that they haven't addressed. So they're just going to keep jumping from relationship to relationship. And each relationship they get into, they're having sex. So they're adding another body onto
So those are the relationships and the sex are like the symptoms of a rooted issue they haven't addressed.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's just the way that is. So with that, you know, I think I've been there before. You know, that's how my body count increased too. You know, I've been where I jump from relationship to relationship. So I understand how that can happen. I can also understand how in your 20s you can do that. You know, I can even understand even in your 40s how you can increase your body count, because the older you get, your body count for some people, if you're single, it is going to increase, because it's somewhat flattering when younger it's attracted to you. That is very flattering. That is like energizing to you. So you jump on that moment, and they may not be mentally compatible for you.
Right.
But that physical gratification, you want to get it because that helps you mentally. And then you go from that person, then you realize that mentally we're not on the same level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You say we're not on the same level, and then you get with somebody else. So you're just, that becomes your drug, not so much the sex. The sex is just a benefit.
It's a cherry on top.
Yes, the cherry on top. But you're more attracted and energized by the fact someone younger still sees something good in you.
So validation.
And then you find yourself sleeping with them. So and then you go from one person to the next. So and it is what it is.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, before we close out here, everybody give their shot of truth on body counts or whatever you want to share in this podcast. Body counts. Tracey, start with you. What's your shot of truth?
Women, do not discuss body count. Don't do it. Because if it's greater than him, he don't want to know. And definitely don't tell names. Oh, my Lord. Why would you do that? Just say no. Don't do it. And focus on him.
Yeah.
And what he needs. And what he wants. All them other ones don't matter.
They taught you how to perform for him.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
In the words of my great friend John, own your truth.
Yes.
Right? Whether you've had a high notch count or a low notch count like me, hey, own it. You know, you're not going to be for everybody, but there's somebody out there for you. I would say, you know, if you look at it as a mistake or something in your past that you're not proud of, hey, that's okay. You know, we can all change. We can all be a different person. So just own your truth, own your past. And, you know, there's somebody out there that will have grace with you and will accept you for who you are.
Yeah. And I agree with both Tracey and Omar. Own your truth, for sure. Own your truth. That's a part of your past. And what Tracey said about disclosing names, never, men or women, do not disclose somebody else's name that you've been with. That is not your story to tell. That is their story to tell. Just tell you've been with somebody else. And if the person you are with is pressuring you to tell you them names and all of that kind of stuff, that is not the person you need to be with. And trust me, get out. That is going to be a mess.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree with everything y'all said. I'll just say the only thing I would add is whatever your body count is, make sure at some point you do some kind of a mental check-in to figure out, like, okay, if it was this person was just sex, why did I do that? Or why did I do this? Because sometimes when you don't know the why, whatever it is, I mean, and even if you're not saying you're beating yourself up, but when you don't realize the why, I think that's when you get in situations where you start repeating messing with the same type of bad people that you don't want, because you never took the time to say, okay, well, why did I do this and why did I do that? Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Hey. All right. Well, that's a wrap.
Peace.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Peace out.